So do get yourself a copy of the Standard so that you're able to see that. Also on page 6, Karanja Kabage as a lawyer, your thoughts on what's happening on the NYS. There's a story there. Haji lays out case against 33 suspects in the 8 billion NYS scam. There are quite a number of individuals that were acquitted not too long ago, and the case basically stopped against them, and that was NYS1. But of course, Kenyans are concerned that could it be one of those where we have people who've been arrested, a lot of drama surrounding the arrests, but no evidence that can have them convicted, if at all they're guilty?
Yeah, first of all, the process of what you call the criminal justice system in a country like Kenya is fraught with a number of challenges. One is that when you are accused as a person, it is the republic versus yourself. And the director of public prosecution in the current constitution is the one who leads the prosecution. But besides the director of public prosecution, we have the director of criminal investigations, who has to do the background work.
Right.
We also have got the, for example, the EACC. And EACC also does its investigations. And that lands at the end of the day in the office of the Director of Public Prosecution. Now, when you look at the role of the Director of Public Prosecution, first he has to study the files and ask himself, is it possible to sustain a conviction in the court of law if I charge so and so? That's the first thing he has to ask himself. The second thing he has to ask himself is, would some of these people who are being charged could be better turned into
state witnesses?
And if the scale is in favor of the state taking those who may have been involved, but not to the greatest extent or gravity, then the state can say, okay, we are going to discharge you, but you're going to be our witness in this particular respect. Because you remember, for you to be able to convict somebody, you need watertight evidence. But sometimes that watertight evidence can only come from those who partook in the process. In other words, those individuals that were involved in the scheme of either conniving or abetting or stealing and so forth and so forth. Now, and it's a smart move. In the US, it is used very, very effectively. So in this particular respect, I don't think we should say that there was no evidence against.
It could be a strategy.
It is a prosecutorial strategy where you say, if I can get somebody who was an insider, who can be able to provide evidence better than myself, then I better have that particular person.
Okay. And yeah, I'm sure that is something that many Kenyans would like to just read and find out what the details are. There's another witness, a few other witnesses who are before the court with 33 suspects. But also, before we wind up, page 9 in Mountains Politics, Barack Muluka, your thoughts on what's happening in Ukambani. We have 3 governors who have come together, and they say their main thing is that Kalonzo Musyoka's time is up as being the Ukambani kingpin. Your thoughts on that?
You see, a few months ago, perhaps a few weeks ago, Kalonzo Musyoka, during the farewell of his late father, requested that he be made an errand boy for the president. And I think that seems to have happened almost instantly. And in the self-same breath, as he was asking to be made an errand boy, he said, and don't ask me any questions. So if your leader elects to become an errand boy, and he also gives you an edict not to ask him any questions, it is only to be expected that he creates a vacuum within that space, and that those who would be putative heirs to the throne would start gathering, if not independently jostling for that space. So I think that Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka invited this upon himself. He did not do it the way Raila Odinga did his, which was a very surprising handshake, and a handshake that saw him and the president issuing a press release where they were paying praise to each other, almost as some kind of co-equals, referring to each other as His Excellency this, His Excellency that. And therefore Raila Odinga went back to his troops in a more convincing manner, and you saw all of them saying, akisema, we do this, we do it, when he says do the other. But this is different. When the leader becomes the errand boy, what do you expect the others to become?
All right, and that's an interesting turn of events in Ukambani. But before we run out of time, let's also look at the Daily Nation. Karanja Kabage, your thoughts on keep off the judiciary, Maraga says to critics. There's been a lot of criticism, especially in regards to fight against corruption, that the judiciary has become a stumbling block.
This is a big elephant in the room, a room called Kenya. I think what we are witnessing here is that there is a perceived perspective by Kenyans that the judiciary is not playing ball in the currency of the moment, where Kenyans have been hurt. Kenyans are in unison with respect to the problem of corruption in this country. And whether the perception by Kenyans that the judiciary is either not alive to their clamor for dealing with this problem of corruption in a decisive manner is a different matter. However, I think the evidence out there in the minds of Kenyans and any intelligent observer is that the judiciary has not quite woken up to the reality that we have a war. And the single biggest stone mill or millstone around the neck of our country today is corruption. Now, judiciary is very critical in the fight if we are going to win this war. And it should be in tandem with the general feeling of the Kenyan people. And in this context, I would say that when you hear political leaders like Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, and even the Director of Public Prosecution stand and say that judiciary is not
living with expectation
in really fighting the corruption, I would say that the judiciary should have a reflection, a deep reflection, because who do Kenyans give leadership? Is the political leaders.
Correct.
Now, if the political class were to take a stand that the judiciary is the roadblock, there will be ramifications. Like, for example, we have had judiciary, we have had surgery of the judiciary. The judiciary, how did that come about? It is the political class that determines that this is the moment we have to move in. And in this particular respect, the public is with the politician. They are not with the judiciary. I'm a practitioner of law. I'm a member of I'm an officer of the court. And I can tell you, if you listen to the past, you touch the past of the people, there is no question about it. There is a serious reservation by the Kenyans as to whether judiciary is alive
actually doing its part
to what they are suffering from.
All right, and because of time, I'll have to pause you there. We will need to take a short break and come back. But when we come back, it's time for Political Point, and looking at even what's happening with the headline of the Standard Season of Rebellion and what's happening in Ukambani. Would like to ask the question of leadership. Do our political parties and our leaders groom leaders who can take over after them, or do they operate in a way that, in a manner that almost seems like they will not be succeeded by anyone? That's a debate we're going to be having right here. And of course, the question that we're running today is, do you think Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka should retire from active politics? Now, it's 4 minutes to 7 o'clock. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, it's time for Political Point.